Welcome to Paradigms at paradigms.life, the radio show and podcast that brings you inspiring people with visions of a viable future for life on Earth that includes humans. Hi, I'm Baruch, host of the show. Glad to be here with you. Thanks for tuning in. We've got a really fun guest. He's a very political person and a musician, and he's just released an album of some of our favorite chants from protesting in the street, set to music. Lots of instruments, lots of singers, really uplifting, fun stuff. I'm sure you'll recognize some of these songs, some of these chants, if you've spent any time at all protesting in the street in the United States. So let's get right to it and meet my guest on this episode of Paradigms. Scott Free, welcome to Paradigms.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm thrilled to talk with you. I just listened to your record, Songs to Fight Oppression, and you've got all my favorite chants from being in the street set to music.
Yes.
So really recognize most of them.
Oh, great. That was kind of the concept, was take the protests into a recording studio. And
No, it was very cool, and some of them were actually very moving because they brought up a lot of memories for me of chanting those in the street. And so I loved it that you took these things and put them to music, and also people can now, maybe some folks don't know these chants, they can take them back out into the street.
Right. And I my concept was maybe, they might use the music before the actual protest, because I go to a lot of protests in Chicago and they're just playing some kind of randomly music before things gets going, and I'm like, oh, they need some better stuff.
Absolutely. This is a really cool project, and we're going to listen to some of it, but I would love to know a bit about you, what your story is, how you came to be an activist, how you came to be a musician, and how these things came together, and just, what's your deal?
Yeah, I've been doing music for many, many decades. I think that there was always, I guess, a social justice aspect to my life. But it was a few years ago when I really incorporated it, and it kind of combined the two. Especially as I got older, it just, pop music it's fun. It's obviously fun and wonderful. But then it just gets kind of flat, and what's the point? So I wanted a little more purpose to what I was doing. And then, like I said, I'm out there in the streets protesting all the time. So it just seemed like it was the right thing to do. So yeah, it was actually during COVID when I kind of said, okay, I'm going to really focus on social justice issues. And so I had put out an album called The Last Revolution. And that was during COVID. Very topical, very angry, but at some point in that process, I kind of came up with this idea that, this would be nice to have something, in a way, it's kind of more fun. It's meant for everybody to just join in and sing along. So obviously it had a different energy coming into it.
Yeah, sort of sing along with Mitch, only it's sing along with Scott. And you get the reference.
So, yeah, but I've worked in all kinds of genres. I put this out calling it a folk album, but there's certainly other styles that are on there. And I just felt like I wanted the style to kind of match the lyric. And so, but it's mostly folk in terms of it comes from acoustic instruments.
Who were some of your folk inspirations or otherwise inspirations?
Well, certainly, Woody Guthrie and Bob Dylan and all the biggies, Pete Seeger. This was a Pete Seeger concept album. I don't want to say that musically it necessarily sounds like Pete Seeger, but I'm a member of the People's Music Network, which is run out of New York, and Pete started that, decades ago. So very much of his concept. Just come on, everybody, let's get together and sing.
That's wonderful. And singing itself is a beautiful thing. Singing with a group of people is a transformative experience. And singing songs that express something so meaningful. It's, you've kind of covered all the big bases here.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Yeah, I really, and I did. I mean, I kind of made a list. Okay, subjects. And so I wanted to try to hit as many as I could. I mean, I'm also kind of a song crafts person. It's really important for me to build a structure that, they can call it having a hook or, being pop commercial or something, but it's really about creating a phrase and a line that will hold up and will, get into folks' heads and be able to sing along.
Yep. Yep.
They like the General Strike one. I had General Strike radios, but then when I said we call on a General Strike, I'm like, oh, there we go. Now I got it. Because you want to make sure that you have something that's going to just grab folks.
Well, one of the things I think people don't realize is when you're writing any song or when you're writing a slogan for a march, it has to be easy to say. Some letter combinations are harder to say.
Right.
And so they get slurred or they get blurry. The meaning gets lost. So there's actually a lot to crafting a meaningful phrase that people can repeat over and over and over again without getting really tired and falling all over their tongues.
Oh, that also is kind of funny when I go to protests because, protests are mostly young folks. That's the energy. That's always been the energy. And so, there are some people who don't have a lot of experience. And so they're coming up with these slogans. It's obviously they didn't try it out before they got to the audience because like the syllables aren't right, the number of syllables, or like you said, it's just so, difficult to pronounce. So plenty of that.
I'm talking with Scott Free. Scott is a composer, musician, singer, songwriter, political activist. He's done a lot of interesting things in his life, and now he's got this new record out, Songs to Fight Oppression. We're going to hear a couple of songs from the new record, and then we'll be back with more conversation with Scott Free. I'm sure you'll recognize these. Here we go. You're listening to Paradigms at paradigms.life.
Now tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks
Now
like.
tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Whose street?
Our streets.
Whose street?
Our streets.
Whose street?
Our streets.
Whose street?
Our streets.
Tell me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Tell me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Tell me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Tell me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Movement united
We'll never be defeated.
The movement united
We'll never be defeated.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Whose street?
Our streets.
Whose street?
Our streets.
Whose street?
Our streets.
Whose street?
Our streets.
The people united
Will never be defeated.
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 We are unstoppable.
A better world is possible.
We are unstoppable.
A better world is possible.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy
body, it's her choice, her decision, her voice. It's her body and her choice, her decision and her voice. It's her body and her choice, her decision and her voice. It's her body and her choice, her decision and her voice. And we will fight for reproductive rights. And we will fight for reproductive rights. It's her body and her choice, her decision and her voice. It's her body and her choice, her decision and her voice. Women's rights are human rights. Women's rights are human rights. It's her body, her choice, her decision, her voice. It's her body, her choice, her decision, her voice. We will fight for reproductive rights. And we will fight for reproductive rights. It's her body, her choice, her decision, her voice. It's her body, her choice, her decision, her voice. It's her body, her choice, her decision, her voice. It's her body, her choice, her decision, her voice. Their body, their choice. Our body, our choice. Their body, their choice. Our body, our choice. Their body, their choice. Our body, our choice. Their body, their choice. Our body, our choice.
All right, we just heard a couple of tracks from the new album Songs to Fight Oppression by Scott Free. We heard Her Body, Her Choice, and This Is What Democracy Looks Like. The words matter, the energy matters. Sound familiar? Great stuff to bring out into the street. All right, here's the next part of my conversation with Scott Free. Let's talk about the issues, social justice. I mean, okay, this record, you've got like one chant for every major issue, which is really awesome. And some of them get more than one. But the reality is there are so many things for us to be paying attention to
Oh, gosh.
that are dire.
You know, I have gone through a process, and I'm confident of where I sit politically. Politically is not a great word, but it's been a real process. I guess when I take on something, I really want to analyze. I have a kind of a research kind of a brain, and my dad was actually a big scientist. And so I kind of analyze and study. And so I've really kind of gotten deep into the media, and especially what has happened online. And I mean, it's fascinating, but now I have a completely different perspective than I did, let's say, 5 years ago, where now I really do believe that our media is 100% propaganda. And so now, like, it's hard for me to watch something like CNN or MSNBC or Fox was always a little hard to watch. But I mean, all of them, BBC, NPR, I mean, they're all really difficult because now I see it from the concept of propaganda. And it's mostly propaganda. It's the worst. I mean, the worst is when it's foreign policy. That's when it's at its worst. And we're just seeing, I cannot believe what we are witnessing right now. I mean, we were witnessing a genocide. And, you know, when you were younger, you heard about genocides, and certainly the Holocaust being the largest and most well-known, although there's been, the birth of America is a genocide story.
Absolutely. And more recently, what happened in Rwanda.
Yeah, yeah. And so, and especially now with our social media and phones, now I go to Twitter and, you see the dead children in the blood and it's just horrific, and we're watching it. And then on top of that, then you watch the propaganda to try to get people to be okay with it. And it's unbelievable. And then it also, for me, it was like to realize that the politicians, they are just 100% people who do the work of the people who pay them. And their skill set is to be able to try to convince people that that's not what they're doing when that's what they're doing. And now it's just so blatant. You can't believe what you're not against genocide. Wait. It's like, it's,
Well, the United States Congress is a circus.
Yeah.
At best, on its good days.
Yeah. Right. It's astounding. I don't know if you saw the one of Tom Cotton interviewing the CEO who was a Singapore citizen. He lives in America. He's got an American wife, and trying to drill into. He asked him numerous times, "Have you ever been a member of the Chinese Communist Party?" And he goes, "I'm from Singapore. What are you?" And he kept saying it. And of course, he's working off his propaganda. But at some point, you're like, "Okay, guy, do you realize how stupid you look? Do you?"
Well, he's also saying it over and over again because listeners will hear it, and even if it's false. Right. It gets into people's thought forms, and now people will think, "Oh, he's part of that." It's hard to tell sometimes where it's stupidity and where it's strategy.
Right. Oh yeah.
With these folks.
Yeah, with Nancy Pelosi saying that people who are involved in Palestine rights protests are paid by Russia. It's like weird.
It's insane. It's insane.
It's like.
We'll be back with more conversation with Scott Free, talking about his story and this music and the world. We're going to hear something from the new album Songs to Fight Oppression, and then we're going to hear something from a pop opera Scott wrote, released on a record called The Pink Album.
I'm already against an expo, I'm already against an expo, I'm already against an expo, yes I am. I'm already against an expo, I'm already against an expo, I'm already against every one of them. I was fighting against the last war, I was fighting against the last war, I was fighting against the last war, yes I was. I was fighting against the last war, I was fighting against the last war, I was fighting against the last war just because. I am even against the Cold War, I am even against the Cold War, I am even against the Cold War sight unseen. I am even against the Cold War, I am even against the Cold War, hot or cold, or temperatures in between. I'm already against an X-war, I'm already against an X-war, I'm already against an X-war, yes I am. I'm already against an X-war, I'm already against an X-war, I'm already against every one of them. I'm already against an X-war, I'm already against an X-war, I'm already against an X-war, yes I am. I'm already against an X-war, I'm already against an X-war, I'm already against every one of them. I'm already against an X-war, I'm already against an X-war, I'm already against an X-war, yes I am. I'm already against an X-war, I'm already against an X-war, I'm already against everyone, already against harm me because I heal you. They kill me because I die for you. They hate me because I love you. When will this be all in history? When will we be free? When will this be all in history? When will we be free? When will this be all in history? When will we be free? When will this be all in history? When will we be free?
That one's called Free, from the Pink album by Scott Free. Before that, I'm already against the next war. I am. How about you? All right, here's the next part of my conversation with Scott Free. In my friend group, and I'm fortunate to have one, obviously these things are part of our discussion all the time, and we always seem to end up at a certain point where we're going, how is it that people can be okay with being that person who's saying and doing those terrible things? Like, how do people live with themselves when they are doing that? And, in my day job, I'm a psychotherapist. So I meet all kinds of people. I experience all kinds of things. And even people with whom I profoundly disagree and even angrily disagree, I have to say, if you encounter people in the right context, everyone's just a person.
Yeah.
I may choke on my words here, but Marjorie Taylor Greene is just a person.
Yeah.
Under all that bluster and corruption and dishonesty and crazy ideology, there's a person. How does that person reconcile themselves with all that other stuff that I just named? Okay, I'm naming that from my perspective. I'm biased, 100% own it. But, really, people know when they're lying.
Yeah.
And they know when they're posturing in a way that's not sincere. And so I am left with this wonderment always.
It is strange to watch the process. And now for me, I feel like I'm on Facebook quite a bit, and I come from the LGBT arts community of Chicago. And of course, it spreads out from there. But that's where I've spent, most of my adult life. So that's where my Facebook crowd comes from. And, I post things and I feel like, okay, well, there goes my music career, because these folks they're not on board with what I'm doing. And all I'm trying to do is make people aware that kids are being slaughtered. And I don't think that that's a terrible, but in that process, yeah, you have to put blame on the person, the leader of this country, who's directly funding it and finding different ways to fund it, even around Congress. So I post anti-Biden things and they hate me because they think I'm pro-Trump because of it. It's like, where on earth did you get this idea that I'm pro-Trump? And their minds, and that's, the whole electoral politics duopoly thing is another challenge where I know that they're all going to unfriend me because I am going to support, and I did in 2016, I'm going to support Jill Stein and, publicly do it. And what drives me nuts, and I'll probably post on Twitter and Facebook this concept, not that my super political stuff doesn't get much likes, but it's like, okay, folks, we are trying to put pressure on this government to end genocide. One of the ways you can do it is to publicly vow that you're not going to vote for Biden, like Arab Americans are doing right now in Michigan, right? You publicly just say, I am not voting for Biden. Now, let's say on November 2nd, you get really scared about Trump and you go in. It's a secret ballot. You can go ahead and vote for your little Biden there. But we have a goal here.
Right. You're trying to move the needle in terms of the dialogue.
Right. So why can't you just publicly state that you're going to vote for somebody who's against genocide, like Jill Stein or Cornel West or the PSL candidate, Claudia de la Cruz? I mean, why not just publicly do that? Yeah, some people might yell at you, but again, the point is to try to stop genocide. And we do have some power as people. I think that's one thing that people don't realize, is the power that we have. Biden made a trip he's making a trip to Michigan right now because the Arab Americans have come out and said, we're not voting for you. Right? So it does have an effect.
And that is one issue of so many.
Oh, my God.
I go in and out of big picture, small picture, Right now I'm in big picture for whatever reason. And really thinking about how there are so many things. I was talking with my friend last night. There's the wars. There's the biosphere issues. There's the proliferation that's being proposed of small-scale nuclear power all around. There's toxic pollution from industry. There's propaganda and political and religious extremism that leads to violence. There are any number, and then there's always a doomsday clock, and we're at like 90 seconds? So at any given time, there are so many things going on, any one of which could create a global disaster.
Yeah.
And we're still here. It hasn't happened yet. I hope it's not yet, but it hasn't happened. And isn't that interesting that we continue to move along? I want to say move forward. And I really feel it's like it's like a spherical expansion. We're going in all directions at once, the really great and the really awful. But we do keep going. Now, maybe the bubble's going to pop, but we seem to keep going.
I read a book called The Uninhabitable Earth a few years back, and that was right in the COVID period. And it talked about, with the climate crisis, the cycles. So when a forest burns because of heat and dry, then that's less trees to take in the carbon dioxide and put out oxygen. So that means the situation is worse, which means more forest fires, which means...
Right. It's a self-reinforcing cycle.
And he pointed out I can't remember the author's name. He pointed out about 6 of them, major ones.
Yeah.
That I actually have a song that's got to be on the next album it's called The Earth Doesn't Care. And it's like, we can do all of our stuff, but the Earth doesn't care. The Earth is not paying attention. It's just doing what it does. And that's the one. I mean, we're getting close to nuclear, confrontations. But to me, it's climate crisis that is the one that could really do us in.
We'll be back with more conversation after we hear a song from Scott Free's album, The Living Dead. This one's called Worthy. This is Paradigms at paradigms.life.
So much older and wiser. Am I worthy of him? And why, when the moment comes, to show him all my charm, I can't think of anything. Do I have anything to say? So much older and wiser. So much older and wiser.
Worthy, Scott Free. I really like that one, from an album called The Living Dead. And now here's some more conversation with Scott Free. As tipping points tip, dominoes fall, there's a cascading effect. This happens, then this happens, then this happens. I'm out west right now. The last 5 years, fire season out west has been unbelievable, like unprecedented. And we see that this causes this, causes this, causes this. And we also see people who are, la, 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 I don't see it, I don't hear it, I don't have to think about it. That doesn't usually work very well as a strategy for any amount of time, but we don't need to yell at people and convince them. They're going to get it one way or another.
Right.
Unfortunately, probably in the hard way. But it just seems like humanity, I don't know. This is sort of weird. I almost feel optimistic, like we could be on the verge of completely destroying ourselves. I mean, there's no question that, but we may have the creativity, and, necessity is the mother of invention, that we might just have a mass quantum realization on this planet of, oh my goodness, look what we're doing. Let's change it. And I've talked about this on the air many times. Remember at the beginning of COVID, the first few weeks, everything stopped. The planes stopped.
Yeah.
The factories stopped. The wars stopped. Well, we didn't stop the bombing, but a lot of the ground wars stopped. The air in Mumbai became clear. The river Ganges flowed. All these things happened. Animals started coming into the cities. That's all it takes. It takes a few weeks and things start correcting themselves.
Yeah, good point. Yes. Yeah, and I was certainly conscious of and people said it online about, wow, this is wonderful. This is, the planet is sitting in peace for a time. And so I think, and to me, the other thing that's really heartening is, and again, because of social media, the outpouring of protests around Palestinian rights is just a joy to see. I cannot believe the numbers around the globe of people coming out. It is astounding. And I'm proud of the people in America that are doing it too. I mean, the crazy reaction to it, it's anti-Semitic.
No, it's not. But the thing that's really interesting to me is, each iteration of Israel trying to squash Gaza over the years, each iteration draws a bit more sympathetic, realistic response from the world in terms of seeing what's going on. And that, while it is a testimony to how slowly we learn as a group, humanity. We do learn. And I am seeing more people this time saying, I'm not taking sides. All the violence is wrong. Everyone needs to stop what they're doing. This is genocide. You can't, the last time a few years ago, we weren't hearing the same degree of this.
Right.
So there's something positive happening. I mean, at what cost? Beyond measure.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you about something completely different.
Okay.
In your life, what have been some major inspirations, moments, experiences, maybe world events, maybe just personal events in your own life, but what have been the things that really inspired you and spurred you on to live this life as an activist, as a person of conscience in this way?
I do think that actually protests themselves are that has kind of hit me on a personal level. I was at a number of the early Palestinian rights ones. It's just so powerful to be amongst other people who, are there for their beliefs and for their want to change the world in a positive way. And so I think those have been very inspirational for me. I've worked in the LGBT community for decades in Chicago. It's not protests, but it's the same kind of thing of people coming together around certain issues. Even what I did for about 20 years was I hosted a music and spoken word performance series called Homalate in Chicago. It would bring folks from the LGBT community in who were, artists, and do a performance that was very intimate. Over, a long period of time, that was really, really a wonderful experience for me, because meeting so many people, hearing their work, having a space, a listening room space that people could hear it. And, the feedback I got from people, how they were just so thrilled to have this space. I mean, I went through kind of a trans awakening during that process. I mean, there was a time, the trans kind of explosion has happened so fast. I think it also has to do with technology, hormonal treatment and stuff. But like there was a time early on when this duo, this guy and gal, they wanted to play my show, and they were on tour. And, I don't know, I just like, okay, they're queer supportive. Fine. Okay, that's fine. We'll have them on, And they played, it was like a packed house. The guitarist, the guy, about 3/4 of the way through the show, he's like, well, you guys are probably wondering why we're here at this LGBT event. And he goes, I was born a woman. And we all just kind of like lost it. We were like, what? Because we had not experienced what hormonal treatment can do and how incredibly effective it works, right? Being around trans folks has been such a joy because, I had the experience of having to grow up being different. And that difference was that I was gay, and I had to keep it a secret. I had to pretend. I had to play the game. I had to. So when I finally came out, that was a really personally important and gratifying, and it changed my life, and I was able to be myself. Well, I can't relate to the trans experience in terms of my own personal, but I can relate to that idea of, you don't belong for a certain reason, and you have to play the game and you have to go along. And now, especially with the technology, to be able to so successfully be able to be who you want to be is just incredible.
It's really amazing.
I mean, because in the past, yes, people could cross dress or they could put on makeup or they, and it was like, okay, so yeah, but it wasn't what we have today.
We'll be back with the final part of this conversation with Scott Free, activist, musician, pretty fun guy. Here's a chant from the new album, Songs to Fight Oppression.
Ban the guns that kill our children. Ban the guns that kill our children. Ban the guns that kill our children. Ban them, ban them, ban them, ban them. Ban the guns that kill our children. Ban the guns that kill our children. Ban the guns that kill our children. Ban them, ban them, ban them, ban them. AR-15, AK-47,
ban the guns that kill our children. I wholeheartedly agree. That's Scott Free from his new record, Songs to Fight Oppression. Now here's the final part of my conversation with Scott Free. There are a few famous cases of trans people who passed for a very long time and no one knew till they died.
Right.
But there are just a few of them that we know about.
Right.
There were probably lots more people.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think is interesting in terms of how many more people come out as gay or bisexual or transgender is partly we have the technology to communicate. But, some people are like, why are there more? And there aren't more.
No.
It's just that more people are speaking up.
Right.
There have always been lots of people who don't fit into a narrow binary gender, sexual orientation, or combo model.
Right.
I still do some of this work, but used to do a lot of work in the 80s. I did a lot of men's groups, not Robert Bly men's groups.
Right.
But really consciousness work. And everyone had inside them a female part. And we encourage, what's their name? Let them come out and speak. It doesn't mean anything except that this is a part of who you are. And I think one of the most powerful things about humanity right now, I read an article really interesting about this, is, you've got the folks who are really interested in growth and are intrinsically motivated to make it better for everyone, and who are inspired by curiosity to learn more about existence.
Yeah.
And then you have other folks who are motivated primarily by status, by looking good, by appearance, by seeming to have power or control, by things that they can use to sort of address their fear of inadequacy or of scarcity. They seem to be diametrically opposed. But then someone else was talking to me the other day about how all this business of polarity, I guess it's Cosmo Sheldrake has written about this, is erroneous. There is no polarity. It's not either or. It never was, and it never will be. But that is something the human mind has come up with and then created as a thought form for us to fit ourselves into. And by doing so, we limit ourselves profoundly.
That's an excellent point. Here I am saying LGBT, blah, 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 blah. Those are categories. They are really not necessary. Right? And hopefully we will get past them. Yeah, there's no doubt.
It's an interesting time to be alive, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And our parents said that, and our grandparents said that, and I guess it really just being a human being, which is not always fun. It can be really difficult, and there's a lot of suffering involved with being human. I don't care what someone's circumstance is. Everyone gets to suffer. But I still feel somehow hopeful. Hope is a verb with its sleeves rolled up, was told to me once, and I like that. So I can say hopeful in a proactive way that maybe we can get it together to get through this really difficult period. I mean, each iteration of humanity seems to come to a major collapse, and we seem to be heading into that again. But then what? Can we then do something else really cool? And I'm not talking about science fiction and outer space. Yes, no, maybe, whatever. That's not the point. The point is, can we continue to exist and outgrow our self-destructiveness?
Like I talked about a little earlier with social media and how I've really delved in, and it is really inspirational to see what is happening. And I'll just name a few places that I've just been so thrilled with. And just because there is an online kind of community that's forming, mostly through YouTube, but some Rumble and Rockfin, and where people are expressing their ideas around the political social justice realm. But then, the people that are numbers of people following, the engagement with the comments, the super chats to help the place keep going. There's so many people that I just think are wonderful. There's a group called Revolutionary Blackout Network, and it's younger Black folks. There's about 6 of them that comprise this group, and they're from all around the country. And they have a very kind of Black Panther concept to them. Very much, yes, we want to be politically aware, but we also want to do community development. And so they're doing things in their different cities. And like from a journalistic side, I really love Gray Zone with Max Blumenthal and Aaron Mate. And they do a weekly Friday night show where they talk about all the issues. It's a wonderful environment. There's a group called Midwestern Marks, and I can't say I'm a Marxist because I kind of don't feel like I have the knowledge base, but these folks are hyper theoretical and yet really engaged and very, personable. I would highly recommend checking out Midwestern Marks. They're wonderful.
Oh, thanks for those.
Yeah, and it's really fun is a weird word, but comes out of caring. It's not like party time, but it's really wonderful to hear these people, and they're brilliant and being engaged in the process. And the Revolutionary Blackout Network, they call themselves post-duopoly. So they kind of get the whole concept that we really do have to leave the Republican and Democratic parties behind in terms of electoral. They're not super big on electoral politics, but at least they recognize the problem being that the two groups have been set up to pretend that they're fighting each other so that you can pick one of their sides and then just stick with your side and be afraid that the other side might win. So you always vote for your side, no matter how disgusting and evil they are, which is what we're witnessing now with the Democrats, right? And so they completely get that concept. And I mean, I remember when I was being a Jill Stein supporter in 2016, there was nobody. I mean, I felt like I was out there all by myself, whereas now there are communities online that are really promoting the concept.
I had her on this show. Before that election.
Oh, yay. Yeah, I'm a fan. I mean, I was a fan of Cornel West too when he came out. I was super excited, and he was going to run on the Green Party. I was like, yes, because you have to have some kind of structure. And then he leaves the Green Party. He was like, Cornel, what are you doing? I heard just yesterday that he's trying to start a party. So I don't, and I'm sure that is simply because now he's coming to the realization of ballot access, and it must be in certain states that the ballot access is much more brutal as an independent than at least with a party,
I saw a quote recently from George Washington, and I'm going to paraphrase badly, basically saying political parties are a really bad idea.
Yeah.
And we have them, and down the line, it's going to be a problem. Yep. And here we are.
Yeah.
It is a problem.
Yeah. It is.
There is so much to talk about with all of this stuff. It's really exciting. Firstly, the music you're putting out that fuels and riles up and supports and is fun in relation to all this. But, it's just great to have a conversation about all this stuff and that people get to hear this and think about it and have their own responses and what they think about all these things. And I like to think of this show and, social media as all being part of the great conversation that we're all in.
Absolutely. And it's fantastic that we have this now. People rag on Twitter, but it's wonderful to have a space where people are really being engaged. And I know it gets kind of brutal, yeah, but it's fantastic to have. I mean, we are having a world conversation 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
You go to different neighborhoods. Twitter is a certain kind of neighborhood now. Facebook is a certain kind of neighborhood. Each one is their own neighborhood. Right. Reddit, Instagram, there's so many. But it is great that we get to have the big conversation. And where it all goes, I couldn't tell you. No one knows, but we'll find out.
Yeah. Yep. And like I said, we're seeing it with the Palestinian rights protests. I cannot believe the numbers around the world. It's just wonderful to see that kind of outpouring of hope.
Let's hope it makes a difference. Well, Scott Free, thank you so much for talking with me. Really fun to meet you and talk about all this stuff. And let's do it again sometime.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on.
Scott Free, thank you so much for talking with me. It was really a pleasure. Enjoyed it completely. Love the music that you've put out, the older stuff, and this new record, Songs to Fight Oppression. Great chants, great songs for us to feel empowered by and to express our moral compass and to bring out into the street. I have a feeling there's a whole lot more street protest coming here in the U.S. anyway, and it's good to be ready with good chants that remind us why we're there. Songs to Fight Oppression. If you'd like to know more about Scott, check out his website, scottfree.net, spelled just like it sounds. He's got a bunch of albums that you might want to check out. All good stuff. Thank you so much, Scott. I hope you'll check out the Paradigms website too, paradigms.life, where you'll find all of our episodes archived going back to 2009. And if you scroll down the page, you'll see a banner ad with a link to my new audiobook, The Prophet by Khalil Gibran, voiced by myself and internationally known author and permaculture teacher Starhawk. You can find that audiobook at theprophet.life. I hope you'll check it out. All right, I am going to leave you with one more track from the new Scott Free album, Songs to Fight Oppression. This one's called Save the Planet, Save the Earth. Let's let the word for the week be conscience. Let's all spend time listening to our consciences, affirming our moral compass, remembering that ultimately we're all in service to the common good. That's humanity. All right. Baruch signing off for this episode of Paradigms. We'll be back next time with more inspiring people. Until then, be a person of conscience and be well.
Drilling oil, we must ban it.
Save the earth, save the planet.
Know its value, know its worth.
Save the planet, save the earth.
Mining coal, we must ban it.
Save the earth, save the planet.
Know its value, know its worth.
Save the planet, save the earth.
Deforestation, we must ban it.
Save the earth, save the planet.
Know its value, know its worth.
Save the planet, save the earth.
Disposable plastic, we must ban it.
Save the earth, save the planet.
Know its value, know its worth.
Save the planet, save the earth. Save the earth, save the planet. Save the planet, save the earth. Save the earth, save the planet. Save the planet, save the earth.
Factory farming, we must ban it.
Save the earth, save the planet.
Know its value, know its worth.
Save the planet, save the earth.
Nuclear power, we must ban it.
Save the earth, save the planet.
Know its value, know its worth.
Save the planet, save the earth.
Militarization, we must ban it.
Save the earth, save the planet.
Know its value, know its worth.
Save the planet, save the earth.
Unlimited growth, we must ban it.
Save the earth, save the planet.
Know its value, know its worth.
Save the planet, save the earth. Save the earth, save the planet. Save the planet, save the earth. Save the earth, save the planet. Save the planet, save the earth. Save the earth, save the planet. Save the planet, save the earth. Save the earth, save the planet. Save the planet, save the earth.
You've been listening to Paradigms at paradigms.life.